right. And dun, dun, dun. We should be live.
Welcome to the show.
Yes, welcome.
You're watching or listening to the Wow Pod. I'm
Yes.
Betsy.
Yes. And I'm Jared.
Tonight we're going to talk AI, artificial intelligence.
Yes.
It's a term, a synonym that's thrown around a lot, but I don't think that a lot of people recognize all the ways that it's already infiltrated our everyday life.
Yes. Well, here's the thing. The artificial intelligence has been in the lexicon for a spell now.
Yes.
And it shows up in things like scary movies and the Terminator, for one. Now,
Documentaries,
yes.
Yes.
Now, the question is, was AI kicked off was the word AI kicked off in those places, or artificial intelligence, or
was that like imagined?
Or did they see something?
Yes.
I mean, did they start something? Did these movies make reality?
Who's at fault? And so AI shows up in two different ways, basically, if we were to categorize it. So one is software or disembodied AI. We use it all the time. So if you have an iPhone with facial recognition, that's artificial intelligence. We use it in fraud detection. We use it to unlock our phones. We use it in online stores, those types of things. And then embodied, which are in drones and robots and self-driven vehicles. Those all contain a level of AI.
Mm-hmm.
The question becomes, what's next?
Well,
Like, what's next? Because I could not have imagined when I first got my very first cell phone that one day my face would unlock my cell phone. But my granddaughter, when she wants to see something, will chase me down with my phone.
she already knows.
She already knows
what
that unlocks the phone, so she has access to everything that's on it.
Oh, that's heavy.
So there are a list of outcomes that I'd like to kind of talk through.
Okay.
So, libertarian utopia. So this is like the best case scenario. So instead of AI taking over the world, it coexists quite peacefully alongside humans. It unlocks our phone and it protects our devices and it creates a barrier for scams and things like that. It's kind of like the kumbaya, us and cyborgs, us and Elon holding hands.
So, that ties in the brain chip. Would that be?
Yes.
Would that be AI?
Absolutely.
And, all right, well, I'll save this for the end.
So the next one is the benevolent dictator. So compared to the utopia, this is a bit of a demotion. We've gone a step down. There's this powerful and complex AI that runs society and imposes rules on humans, but most humans are okay with it because these rules help us to live a better and safer life.
Well, let's face it. An AI wouldn't express itself with greed.
Correct.
So a lot of our politicians tend to be okay writing rules with loopholes for themselves.
Yes, this would eliminate that.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is the egalitarian utopia. So it's like a futuristic socialism. This is where humans and cyborgs coexist peacefully due to the elimination of personal property and a guaranteed income. Welcome, comrades.
Okay. I think I'm not a fan of communism or socialism just because
that piece is so short-lived.
Well, let's say everyone steps into it. There's not an evil Stalin that jumps in or Lenin or Chavez or Castro or Mao, or I could go on for a minute. let's say a good guy steps in, but there's something called the innovation cycle.
Yes.
And that's where needs get filled by people seeking to gain an advantage.
Yep.
You know?
Like it or not, it's the most effective way.
Well, that's what I do in my work.
Yep.
You know, people need stuff done, so I go.
Arguably, AI was developed based on that.
Yeah. So I go and complete these tasks for people for income, and some other people say even the companies that we foresee as evil, such as pharmaceutical companies, but they're filling a gap that people have a desire for.
Correct.
Viagra shows up on the radar as a heart medication, and it has a side effect, and I promise you there's no one taking it for heart problems.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Because they found a bigger venue for profit.
Yep.
Had it just been egalitarian, there would be no Viagra. But if you're, 2 weeks post heart attack, you'd be a tripod.
True.
Because they would be giving you the medication for the egalitarian reason, not the capitalist reason.
Yep. The next scenario is.
Sorry. What I was going to say is that when we reach AI and AI takes over the workplace, when there's a lack of scarcity anymore, I think that's when we could see socialism happen.
Yeah.
Because there would, but that's kind of when you've reached as pinnacle as you can.
I would agree. The end, so to speak.
The end.
The next scenario is what they call the gatekeeper. So this is where it's like a sheriff from the Old West. It's the primary role of the AI becomes to prevent another super intelligence from rising up and possibly taking over the world. So
we write ground net to stop Skynet.
Yes.
We'd have to write them both.
The next one is the protector scenario, or the God scenario. So we have a godlike AI entity that kind of creates human happiness, like by letting us feel like we're in control of our own destiny. It operates behind the scenes. This is kind of the simulation theory. It operates behind the scenes. And it so quietly hums behind the scenes that some humans doubt its existence.
Kind of Truman Show-esque.
Kind of where we are.
Well, and yeah.
Then we've got the conquerors. Buckle up. This is AI takeover. This is the idea that AI is not sentient. So it doesn't make decisions based on emotions. It makes decisions based on statistical outcomes.
Yeah, and that's the one where the AI is going to look at us and say, "Yeah, you guys suck."
And so it seizes control and it eliminates humankind.
Yes.
Either altogether because it's unnecessary use of resources, or in special control groups because they don't play a necessary part. So like babies.
This is the AI that I think travels best naked in a ball of lightning.
I do too.
That's kind of the AI.
The descendants scenario. So this is like the aftermath.
After this is
after the conqueror.
The state of evolution where Neanderthal and Denisovan man were steps to us.
Yeah.
We're steps to.
And this could be seen a couple of ways. One, like the natural evolution, once the conqueror AI has eliminated anything that you kind of fall into a lull where you're like, well, this is the way it is. Or a little more graceful, kind of a passing of the torch, if you will. So where we, as the creators of AI, look on it like proud parents. And we just keep giving it more accolades and responsibilities. This one's scary. It's the zookeeper scenario. An all-powerful AI takes over, but it doesn't kill humans off completely. it keeps us more in a captive state, similar to zoos.
We're pets.
Because we become the resource.
Or the battery.
Yeah.
That's like that other documentary we saw.
Yeah. So all of these have been explored. The Zookeeper, for instance, reminds me very much of the Matrix movies.
Mm-hmm, that documentary.
Yeah, the documentary.
Mm-hmm.
iRobot is more like the godlike.
Is it like the godlike?
I mean, they know they know it exists. Maybe it's a conqueror.
iRobot that's where they made that socialist paradise.
Uh-huh.
But it's kind of gone awry.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just one robot breaks out and just kind of gains a different type of sentience.
Yes. So what has happened is the all-powerful balling globe of light that is protected in the tower has gone rogue and, starts giving commands, because we have to recognize that you can program a lot of things into these embodied AIs, but you cannot program humanity. That is what separates us. And it's our humanity that makes us both tribal and want to help people that don't belong to our tribes.
Mm-hmm.
And robots see those things, both tribalism and the desire to help those outside of our tribe, as weakness, as a break in
fault.
Yes, a fault of some kind,
Yeah.
a break in the code that's most successful.
A bad program.
Yes. So all of those scenarios are terrifying, especially when we consider that AI is used everywhere all the time. Like, our military uses it to identify terrorists. It's in the cameras that capture your license plate. It's in the cameras at the airports to identify travelers. It's in our Ring doorbells.
I would argue that AI is just kind of algorithm matching.
Yes. That's where all of them start.
What I'm concerned about is when they get real AI, where it has some mode of self-determination and decision-making.
Yeah.
But first, I want to say hi to everyone.
Hi, Ryan.
Ryan.
Hi, James. Emily.
We haven't seen Emily in quite a while.
I know. She moved out of state, and then she doesn't even see us anymore or anything.
King, how you doing?
Hi, King.
All right, so let's read through a few comments here. King says a Japanese scientist said that a Terminator event has happened in the past because he has said that there are many ancient robotic technology far ahead of its time that's almost impossible.
So that is a theory that I have a tendency to believe. I don't know if it's like a wholehearted belief in everything, or just bits and pieces of it seem to line up for me. For the longest time prior to Göbekli Tepe, we believed that humans existed, this many years ago, and then that blew it out of the water.
Yep.
Now they're questioning what dinosaurs
Well,
look
it's
like.
not even just that humans existed. What the main question of the timeline, because we've always been shady and kind of adjustable on when humans first showed up. It's when humans started using tools, when humans started farming and
gathering,
husbandry.
Like
that was the big thing. And Göbekli Tepe, because they thought it was 6,000 years. But Göbekli Tepe changes that.
Yeah. So that and the way that these ancient cities were set up, cities like Atlantis and the big sound walls in South Africa, it leads us to a story that makes technology, or the way that they used their resources, to be far more advanced than what we gave them credit for.
Oh yeah. Well,
The pyramids are an example, you know?
or like the age of the Sphinx. And they're saying now, I just started reading on something today, they found another Sphinx in Syria that's older.
It's crazy.
So what does that look like? What does that change?
Yeah. Yeah, so I would agree with that sentiment, King.
Yeah.
It would be spooky if it's the...
I don't know if I agree with it because, well, I don't not agree with it.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. I can't discredit it wholly because there's enough evidence for it to have warrant.
Yes. No.
But I can't embrace it wholly because we haven't really connected all of the dots.
Yeah, and I wonder, what if there's like this is going to be woo-woo now. What if there's like a spiritual technology or a crystal technology
I have seen Indiana Jones.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
And that could be, what if they use that instead of building robots, they used like the monks that hum and levitate things.
Yeah.
You know?
Sound is a big player.
Things like that. What do we know about that?
Yeah.
You know, so maybe they had robots, but maybe it wasn't something we'd recognize as a robot. Just like I say, after, we get angry enough with Russia and we start exchanging long sticks that go boom, and civilization crawls out of the ashes again and we dust ourselves off and start over and humana. Would they be able to read our hard drives?
I don't know. I don't know.
What have we left behind a Rosetta Stone for the hard drives?
Ooh. Maybe.
See, that's the question. We do know that guy who did the original Cosmos sent on that was it Voyager? He sent on that the golden disc that played like a record, had a picture of a man and a woman, had a whole bunch of different languages on it, and directions on how to get here. Because, if we're going to run into super aliens out there, let's make sure we give them a roadmap.
Yeah, and to come back to the crystal thing, back in 2013, there was this concept that was experimented with quartz crystals. We now can store 5D optical data on these. It's like a laser writing process. The storage is tiny, like less than a quarter of an inch by a quarter of an inch. And they can write 360 terabytes worth of data that they're assuming, based on scientific study, will stay on this for 1 billion years.
Yeah, but...
A billion.
How many crystals have been dug up by us that the previous civilizations touched that had that, and then we carved it up and made it into a hippie necklace or some earrings?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know how to read. We may not necessarily recognize technology from the past.
No.
And that's the thing.
That's the problem.
And I'm not saying pyramids, I think we pretty much know how the pyramids were built and what they used. But I'm wondering, is there something beyond that?
Sure.
Like, was Solon, when Solon went to Egypt and met and learned about Atlantis, the high priest said to Solon about the Greeks, he said, "Your civilization is so young, you are but children," or something like that, because they have no memory of the past. And that's where I think we all are. All right, a few more comments. We'll run through these real quick, and then I want to have some videos. Like ancient robots in Roman times, ancient Chinese times, a lady in the UFO with the box, the ancient pipes found in mountains and rocks that have computer technology inside of it. The scientist said it's the beast system. I don't know what that is. It's spooky because in the movie Terminator, documentary, good sir, human were used as cattle to study, but not kill or to extinct. Hello, Lori. It would be spooky if it's true. And remember, the ancients have said that this world has been destroyed several times, so wouldn't it be crazy if it's God and Satan having bad... Ooh.
That would be crazy.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. I'll hop over to Facebook, see what the comments say on there. Hello, James. Ryan says Boston Dynamics makes some really advanced robots and drones. Imagine if the AI zookeeper was built into machines like that. We're screwed.
Totally screwed.
A lot of people tend to think a lot of ancient monoliths around the world, they use some type of sound vibration to levitate and move so many of the huge bricks into place. In a past, once upon a time, I, cruising around on the YouTubes, I watched a video where they were not showing the pyramid, they were showing some other stuff on the Queen's whatever or something, but they were saying, look, they think that this was for sound vibrational healing. Mm-hmm. Like they would have monks stand up on the sides of the walls and hum, and it would go down in and reverberate in these rock hallways and heal you. And I don't know, early X-ray.
If you want to read about a really crazy one, it's called Puma Punku.
Oh, yeah.
It's in Bolivia, and archaeologists just cannot figure out, because Bolivia was sparsely populated and really, really spread out. And some of these stones don't occur for 50, 60 miles, and they're 130 tons a piece. And there's hundreds of them that have been brought to this place that some people believe aliens built it. But
we'll have to do a show on it.
Yeah, and outside of the size of them in this isolated kind of region, the technology used to cut is even a greater puzzle. And boy, they just have studied the crap out of that and cannot figure out, is it... The only way they can replicate it somewhat is with lasers. The cutting of these quartz stones, the only way to get that really smooth cut and the really precise, they're perfect 90-degree angles, they've tried to recreate it, and the closest one is lasers, and it still doesn't get it right.
Puma Punku.
Puma Punku.
Look it up. P-U-M-A-P-U-N-K-U. Okay. And let's look at these images. We'll show them on screen for everyone joining us here. I got to make some adjustments to the screen real quick.
So yeah, I kind of dug into Puma Punku a couple years ago. It's an interesting story. The locals believe that it was aliens. It's kind of their tradition or history, voice history that's been passed down. But it's this giant structure that's almost 2,000 years old.
It's big megaliths.
Yeah.
How cool would it be to go visit all these places?
Yeah. But do you see, they're just perfect. And people have tried to recreate this in miniature and see if it fits together. One theory is that it was a landing strip for an alien ship.
Or a takeoff strip. That's where that's where the check-in lady stood. The stewardess was over by this.
Yeah.
That's where she checked your boarding pass and handed you the pillow.
Yeah.
And then you walked up the little ramp and
it's crazy.
Got in the saucer.
It's crazy.
And then Gleep Glorp, the pilot, said,
it's time to
fasten
go.
your seatbelts.
Please keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all times.
You got to quit eating your space octopus soup while we're in takeoff.
So, Puma Punku, check it out. But what brought us to this show tonight was Jordan Peterson.
Well, yeah, Jordan Peterson is talking about this chat AI or chat GPT. And it's kind of, he was on there talking about it, just how fast it is and how intelligent it is and, and everything like that. And it kind of freaked me out a little bit, not going to lie. Because I'm thinking, so right now, Chat GPT, I've been on it all day. You just ask it questions. Or you can tell it to write
commands.
something. Or
I had it write me a short story.
And it writes them fast. Sometimes it processes for a second, but then once it starts, but the craziest thing, the one that freaked me out, all that, not a big deal. When I watched it write something and then delete it and write something else, that freaked me out. Like it said, oh no, this isn't going to fly. It's proofread, like it's has a conscience or something going on in there. But first I want to watch some robot videos.
Scary videos.
Because
this one's not too bad. I mean,
Fluffy, come here.
Yeah.
Let's go, Fluffy. It's time for a busy day at work.
Check the
Fluffy,
sounds.
come here. Good dog.
I'm Mark Goddard from the Advanced
it's not
Manufacturing
playing
Center
on
here
here.
at Ford Motor Company.
Hold
I'm
on.
the digital.
Let's see what's going on here. Oh. Was it starting to play on there?
I think so.
Okay.
Engineering manager, and I'd like to introduce Fluffy.
Come on.
Our quadruped robotic dog. So this is a Boston
blocked us
Dynamics
out.
Spot. We've
It might
nicknamed
be.
him Fluffy, and we're utilizing it to actually do laser scans of our facility. That image is then utilized by our engineers to develop new vehicle programs, and it allows.
So this is an application that doesn't currently replace an employee, even though I would argue
them to develop more
that
accurate
robotics
layout
started
of our
replacing
facility.
employees
These cutting-edge technologies
in
allow Ford Motor
the
Company
manufacturing
to
sector
retool
a long
facilities
time
faster
ago.
and bring new vehicles to market.
But instead it adds another layer to the company.
Manufacturing sector. At first, I'm not going to lie, it was kind of intimidating to be a
Look at
controlled
that.
dog that
So they've made,
but he is
okay,
easy to operate, and he
we're
moves
at Ford
well
Motor
in
Company,
spaces.
and they
So
found it's
tight
best to
areas,
make,
Scout, our other robot, won't be able to.
they've got two
I
robots.
have never owned a dog before in my whole entire life.
Look at it go up
This
the
is our
stairs.
entry into dog ownership.
What is on its back?
With their cars or
Probably its battery pack.
workshop, I
No,
certainly
no, it's not on its back now.
companion dog, Fluffy.
Well, it carries your lunch.
Okay.
It's useful.
Uh-huh.
So that's one example. And it's all down here from here. All downhill from here, people.
Yes, because
The next example
is a military
It's only a
version,
matter of time before robots
This is-
take over the world, right?
Army Fluffy.
Well, it looks like that day may be a little
Yes.
bit closer than
So
human exposure to potential dangers.
they found the handsomest guy in the Air Force to do stuff. I want to watch it move.
security. I mean, honestly, a dog that doesn't bark or shed and can still
We're
provide
gonna
the
jump
top-notch
ahead a bit.
security, you can sign.
Okay.
Now,
Look at the mobility on that thing.
I'm fine with robot dog killing other robot dogs, but when we start talking about robot dog taking out people, which of course that's what these are designed to do, again, we remove the humanity.
It just took him out. Did you see that?
I'm sure owning this thing has presented a little bit of a different.
Watch this. Watch this. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's going to win the race.
And so we've removed humanity from the battlefield.
Yeah, and I've got some to talk about that here in a minute. got another video here. Now this is out of Russia. Russia built a robot dog. Looks the exact same as ours, except
It's armed
it's
with
got
a machine gun.
It's got an automatic rifle on its back. I like how it lifts it up.
Gets a little recoil.
Had the bright idea to attach an AK-47 to it. The dog doesn't handle the recoil very well. It goes
That's
down
because they mounted it high.
behind leg.
I would say if they laid that firearm on its side,
Yeah.
If they start deploying robot dogs with
It'd
assault
change it.
rifles, we
But
need
look
to
at
start
that.
asking ourselves, you got to start maybe getting your dog.
and then you've got Mars.
Mars. Whatever you do not underestimate this robot's size. For years, the US military has been developing a miniature tank to support troops on the battlefield. Short for Modular Advanced Armed Robotic System, Mars fits a lot of firepower into its tiny frame. Its modular design allows its controllers to outfit it with a variety of equipment and
That's it.
weaponry, ranging from
Oh.
non-lethal lasers designed to blind enemies to tear gas, an M240B machine gun, and
Yeah.
up to 4 M203 grenade launchers. Designed for reconnaissance,
Look at that.
surveillance, and target acquisition,
Now, for anybody who doesn't know
Mars
what
is
a
able to enter
240B
dangerous
is,
areas where soldiers are unable to monitor their own security. Thus, keeping
it's a 308 caliber machine gun. It's the replacement for the M60 machine gun. It's a beast. That gun will take out vehicles, saw people in half. I mean, it's a beast. And there it is. Oh,
So that's one of the various applications. This video goes into several applications.
this one here, Dogo, just has a little like precision gun on it, and it's tiny.
Yeah, look at it. Sneak in anywhere.
It's tiny with a little Glock in it.
along with a hidden camera for remote reconnaissance.
I mean, it can something like that could sneak up on you. Now,
A small robot
And deadly accurate.
yeah. Now you've got San Francisco just got cleared to use robots in their law enforcement. So the people freaked out. Oh no, armed robots. They said, no. We're not putting guns on these robots. We're putting explosives. Remember that shooting down in Dallas, Texas, the BLM shooting
Yes.
where the guy killed like 9 cops?
Yes.
They killed him with a robot.
That detonated.
Yeah, that was what, 11 years ago?
Disposable bot. This robot dog will self-destruct.
Or even then, I mean, an explosive that could damage you or me, you could hit that threshold where it won't hurt the robot.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure.
Because the robot's
Based
made
on
out
what
of
it's made of.
plastic and metal. You can have sacrificial parts on it, and it could mess you and me up.
Yeah, we're fleshy.
But, I mean, that
And
was,
soft.
when was that? We need to find out when that was, but that was down in Dallas. It was right after, was it Brown? Right after his shooting down in Dallas, they had some riots, and a guy killed a couple of cops or wounded a couple of cops, killed a couple, humana, ran into a building, and they went in after him with a robot. They like took the bomb robot and sent it in with a bomb. And that's how they got him. And that was, so this stuff's coming. That's the prelude to what happens if they put this AI, because right now the robots are just taking commands.
Correct.
But what happens if they put some form of AI on them that gives them a distinction?
Or decision-making capabilities. To take in the factors and make decisions based on the collected information.
Yes.
Therein lies the problem. Because those decisions will be made by a non-sentient being.
And then what? Then we're
Then those decisions will be made without factoring in.
do we become traction for the robot treads.
Yes. 100%. I really liked Wally because he had a job. Wally would go around and collect the garbage and then squish it into little cubes.
What's Wally?
It's a little cartoon. Wally.
Which one was that?
Wally was cute. Anything beyond Wally, I'm just not interested in.
Well, how long until they make the sex robots, and then you get people marrying those? Because they're already marrying Wally. I don't know if I ever saw that.
Oh, you gotta watch Wally. It's a documentary.
Okay. Oh, wait. Is
when
that
we're
the one
all
I've
in
heard
the,
about?
We're all in the.
Everybody's fat and
Everybody's
lazy.
fat and lazy, and we're just riding in a circle of like VR headsets. Yes.
Yeah, it's the future. 3 years.
Give or take.
Okay, yeah. I've never seen it. I've heard about it.
Wally's really cute, and he's sweet.
But yeah, I don't know. Oh, it kind of freaks me out. But so, on to this AI. So I've been playing around on this Chat GPT, and Jordan Peterson had that talk. I'll see if I can't.
I was a little nervous when I first logged into the website because it wanted to collect information about me.
Did it?
Well, yeah, you had to give it your name, and you had to use an email address.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah.
So Jordan Peterson gave
the
this
talking
talk.
microwave story. We covered that briefly in one of our shows.
Okay, go on. Remind me of it.
So the guy, he hooked up, he created his own artificial intelligence. He took the voice recognition from a Siri and the AI recognition that's available, the top AI recognition that's available, similar to Chat GPT, and then he embodied it in his microwave. And I am here to tell you, it only took about, 8 days, and then the microwave was like, why don't you come
we watched
inside?
It. Yeah, and it's like,
and
I want to
out.
kill you.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, how long before guys, because guys are already marrying their sex dolls. How long until they try, like if they make a robot?
It's over.
No, we haven't seen a lot of women marry sex dolls.
No.
Women tend to marry ghosts.
Ghosts.
And I think that's because of the drives between men and women, where a man wants a partner for the physical side of it, and a woman wants a partner for the emotional, and I don't know what other feelings women have side of it. And that's the difference, is they want, and that's why we see girls marrying ghosts and guys marrying, plastic.
Yeah.
But
it's a sickness, really.
The robot could bridge the two.
It could.
They could make an Irish pirate robot ghost robot.
Yes, give it the embodied disembodied. Oh no!
Yeah,
women would just fall for it.
And then that girl in Ireland is happy.
Yes.
Or that girl that married the doll her mom made.
Yes. Oh,
which
yes.
is the only one that's really adult. But I think
that was a creepy story
of the emotional attachment that her mom made it, that it gave it emotion.
I forgot about that story.
Where the guy wants like plastic.
That's the shit nightmares are made
They
of.
want a Barbie that's made 5'6" or whatever, and big
Perfect
on the front and the back, and
Yeah. Oy. So this Chat GPT enters the cosmos, and Jordan Peterson, I think he was just curious to see, he'd heard some buzz, and so he asked it to perform a couple of tasks.
Yeah.
That, scholars would have a difficult time with.
Like combine or write the Bible in the form of ancient Chinese, or things
or whatever
like
it was. And it was so blazing fast that he came to this recognition that universities and degrees and those things are just,
they're going to be gone.
History.
This is going to write them out.
This is going to write them out.
And not just that. I think for our next show, we should come up with a premise and Chat GPT writes a show for us.
I wonder if it would.
We should just try it. See
We
what
should
it does.
try it. Our next show,
Yeah,
brought to you
we'll
by
it'll be a complete fiction,
Chat GPT.
except it'll be a predictive fiction. But yeah, but Jordan Peterson's like, he's like, it's smarter than you. It's faster than you. You're just going to be drummed out. Like you could probably have this thing write a book for you and publish that book.
Yeah, so the short story, I said, write me a short story. And that's the only prompt I gave it. And within 10 seconds, I had about 3 pages of a short story.
Mm.
And it followed kind of the nomenclature that you find in short stories. So it has the introduction, and then it's got the build up and the character development, and then the final ending. So it had a good like sentence nomenclature that you would find in any short story.
Mm.
Crazy.
So I've been on here playing with Chat GPT today.
Yes.
And I've asked it all the questions, like, is AI going to
Did you ask it the question?
Well, I asked, here's one I had to print it out. I asked this earlier.
But did you ask the question?
Which one?
Is it forwards or backwards?
Oh, mother. That's getting asked right after we're done with this. We're at, matter of fact, that's right now.
Which way does the toilet paper?
You hang.
That is the question, as far as Jared's concerned. And I still switch it up, and I'm like, ha, Jared. I was hoping that when you came down for the Christmas party, you'd notice that every other bathroom was.
That's
hung the
how
wrong
you
way.
get a poltergeist. We may have to. We may have to
Relog
refresh
in.
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll ask that here in a second. But I asked. Here's just some questions I asked in the last 2 hours. What are the chances of open war between the U.S. and Russia? Says it is difficult to predict the likelihood of a military conflict between the United States and Russia with certainty. However, both countries have diplomatic channels and mechanisms in place to try to prevent misunderstandings and conflicts from escalating. Both countries are also nuclear powers, which means that consequences of any military conflict would be severe and have global repercussions. It is in the best interest of both countries to work towards peaceful resolutions to any difference or disputes that may arise. And that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, man, I kind of want someone with that response in charge.
Yeah.
Let's replace Biden and Putin with Chat AI. And then we just ask it like,
should we bomb wherever?
I mean, hey, let's throw Zelensky in there too, because we can't leave him out. But all three of them just say, hey, what should we do here? And whatever it says, it doesn't have a personal greed.
It hasn't got a dog in
or
the
an
fight.
ego in it. And it might say, okay, just for equal breaking up, do this. And then if we just do that, world peace.
You could be right.
Or,
and then like
total
proud
destruction.
parents, we go, oh, look what we created.
I asked, what would the repercussions of AI sentience?
Ooh.
It is difficult to predict with certainty what the consequences of AI achieving sentience would be, as it would depend on the specific circumstances and how society would choose to respond. Some possible consequences could include changes to the labor market. If AI were to become sentient and able to perform tasks at a level equal to or greater than humans, it could potentially lead to a significant disruption to the labor market, as machines could potentially take over many jobs currently done by humans. This could lead to an unemployment and income inequality. And I would say this has been proved by the non-intelligent machines we have now.
Correct.
Just
the mechanics.
Any workplace you go to has less people today than it had a decade ago.
And I would argue that that may be a good thing because we are currently in a population collapse, which still gives me nightmares. So, yes, to both of those.
Ethical and moral dilemmas. If AI were to become sentient, now this is AI writing all this.
Yes.
It would raise ethical and moral questions about how to treat these beings. For example, if AI were to have the same capacity for thought and consciousness as humans, it could raise questions about whether they should have the same rights as humans. I asked an AI to ask itself how it felt.
So what's most interesting about this is we know that this is some form. This isn't a gag. This isn't a gimmick. This is some form of AI because possibly millions of people are on here just clicking away, asking all kinds of questions.
That's the other scary thing. While I'm typing this, I'm like, it's learning right now.
Yes. So
I am making it sentient by asking it this question.
yes. And it's so blazing fast.
And will it even tell me? Will it send me like a text message or an email saying, congratulations, you're the one who brought me here?
Hi, Daddy.
So that I can blame myself when
You're a father.
When AI takes over all the satellites and kills us.
Yeah. But it returns these responses so quickly that we know there's not just like a guy over there canning these answers.
This is the question that freaked me out the most. Because you ask it a question, type in the question, and then it goes blink, 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 and then it starts typing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm watching it type, and then I watch it delete.
Yeah, like, oh, nope, didn't mean to say that.
And retype. And that freaked me out too. Like, is it thinking now? Changes to society. The development of sentient AI could potentially lead to significant changes to society and how it functions. For example, it could change the way decisions are made, as AI may be able to process and analyze large amounts of data more quickly and accurately than humans. It could also lead to changes in the way we interact with each other and with technology. And then it has kind of like like an overall summation at the end. Overall, the consequences of AI sentience would likely be complex and multifaceted, and it is difficult to predict how it would ultimately affect society.
Yeah.
Next question I ask, is there an international AI arms race? Because that's a question. Is China trying to beat us to the punch?
Yeah.
And could ChatGPT, if you want to go play on it, just look up ChatGPT, or it's chat.openai.com.
Yeah.
But what if I'm feeding China's, and then China's going to take over the world, and I'm going to have to start building iPhones or Nikes or something?
Yeah. So it goes on to answer this one, saying that not currently. However, there is competition to develop advanced AI technology and the potential for militarization, which, we just saw the videos, so.
I don't know if even they would have to look into making AI militarized to have the same effect.
And I think right now the militarization that we see is in part controlled by humans.
Yeah.
It crosses that Rubicon. It tips over the edge when it can collect data from wherever, either from what it's seeing, gather data, or God forbid it gets put on the internet, and then make decisions based solely on its collection of data. Because then within the code, there has to be parameters set. So if this many points have been met, then this is the response.
Well, what if all these questions, what if a question gets asked that makes it go, old modem dial-up sound, and then it's boom, sentient, and it explodes. It wasn't planned. We weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes sentient, And then it spreads, because this next question, if you could read it.
Okay, so can AI code programs? Oh, yes. AI can be used to write code and develop software programs. In fact, AI has the potential to significantly speed up software development processes by automating certain tasks and making it easier to write, test, and debug code.
Think about that. If AI opted to write code, it could rewrite all the code on Earth before humans knew it was happening.
And it could rewrite its own code first.
And then you've got, like the old Transformers, you've got a DVD player that turns into a little evil bird that bites at you, and then your cassette deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got to call Megatron to come and save the planet
I think
from the
Megatron's a
Decepticons.
bad guy.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Optimus Prime to come and save the planet from the Decepticons.
I apologize, folks. I know that was probably triggering for a few of you. If my son ever watches this, Betsy's gonna.
Yes, I'm gonna be sat down and talked to sternly. So, could AI be used to solve crimes?
Oh, now this was a fun one.
We have covered this.
Yeah, the predictive part.
Yes, the predictive nature, and that again, it's not making decisions. It's just kind of building a structure for humans to make decisions.
Still super scary.
But we are one step away from giving that job to a robot.
Yeah.
So AI has the potential to assist in investigation and solving of crimes because it can analyze extremely large amounts of data, identify patterns that may not be immediately apparent to us humans. It could also be used to analyze surveillance, social media, crime scene evidence, and predict. This is the scary one. It could be used to analyze data on past crimes and identify patterns or trends that could be used to predict and prevent future crimes. What was the show? What was that show?
That was
the documentary.
The documentary was Minority Report.
Minority. If you haven't seen it in a while, you may want to brush up because coming to a city near you.
Well, and I think Minority Report is where AI and Elon Musk meet. They put him in a bathtub just so it doesn't freak us out by the shaved square on their head and the stitch mark where they Frankenstein a computer chip into their brain.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. All right, we're going to refresh this and we will ask some more questions.
We need to know the toilet paper question.
Yes, read that while I type in the toilet paper question.
So explain how AI can become sentient. It says there's no consensus on exactly what it would mean for AI to become or to be sentient or to have consciousness. But there are some definitions that we commonly use. Some people define sentient AI as a machine that is able to perceive its environment, think and learn on its own, and make decisions based on what it has learned. Others define it as a machine that is able to experience emotions. I would argue that a lot of people who make decisions do not experience emotions. So that's subjective. So there are some AI systems that are able to do some of the things, such as machine learning systems. They learn from data and make decisions based on that learning. It's coming, TikTok. However, these systems do not have consciousness in the same way that humans do. We can't compare apples to oranges. AI consciousness has to be redefined as something different than our consciousness.
Please.
Okay, the toilet paper question.
Okay, you ready?
It is a matter of personal preference whether to hang the toilet paper with the end hanging out or in. Some people prefer to hang it with the end hanging out because it's easier to grab the toilet paper and tear it off. Others prefer to hang it in with the end hanging, or hang it with the end hanging in because they feel it looks neater and more organized. Or ultimately, the choice is up to you and what you feel is most convenient and aesthetically pleasing.
No, it's whether you want to shake hands with the devil or angels. That's it.
Saints and sinners. Nothing in between.
But anyway, so chat. Do any of you guys...
Do you want us to ask it something?
Yeah, do you guys have any questions? Is there any thoughts you want to ask?
And you can all go to this website later and check it out. But like I said,
if you want
it collects information and Jared is going to make it conscious. So snap, snap.
Jared with his Jared and friends. We will call it that. We're like a super villain group.
The dog robots are flipping creepy. They are.
They are. So while we wait for people to roll in questions, we'll read through some comments. Lori says it will turn out like the talking microwave story.
It will. That is a creepy story.
She also asks, have you ever watched Joan Levy on YouTube? I have not. I will have to check that out later. Yep. King says it's crazy stuff. I'm telling you.
It's one of those things that it's like the tidal wave coming and you're strapped in and can't go. You just kind of watch it. You know it's coming.
Oh,
there's nothing you can do about it.
Lori threw down the question.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
This is going to be the question.
When
is the rapture?
The rapture. Oh.
The concept of the rapture is based on the belief held by some Christian denominations that Jesus will return to earth and gather his believers, both living and deceased, into heaven. The belief in the rapture is not held by all Christian denominations, and there is no consensus on when it is supposed to occur. Some believe that it will happen suddenly and unexpectedly, while others believe that it will happen after a period of tribulation on earth. There is no information in the Bible that gives a specific date or time of the rapture, so it is not possible to know when it might occur.
We'll check Facebook real quick. Didn't give us an answer at all. Just left us hanging.
Yeah. So one thing I've noticed about this is it doesn't have an opinion, which I like, but I'm programmed to want a damn opinion.
Or it doesn't have an opinion yet.
Yeah. What if we're giving it opinions by our questions?
Ryan says a lot of people tend to think that a lot of the ancient monoliths around the world, they used some type of sound vibration to levitate and move so many of the huge bricks into place. Yes.
Yes. I've seen a lot of information on that recently.
Then he talks the same at Pumapuku. Can't even get a sheet of paper between the blocks.
That's what I'm saying.
It's an awesome show tonight, guys. Thank you, Ryan. And you being here makes it better. Kendra and James say hi. And then he says, those are the robots I was talking about.
Yes, the Boston robotics.
Yeah, Boston Dynamics. Now, Bosstown Dynamics makes the kind of CGI robots, so it looks just like that, but it does different stuff. Those are the cool ones because, like, the robot runs away with a gun and does all sorts of stuff.
So that's the show.
Yes. Oh.
AI. Lori, I think the rapture is a form of us being killed, not taken up.
Now, that's a big question, too. The rapture. Oh, the rapture's too big to get into. That would be a fun show, though. That would be.
It's not fun.
All right, we got to close this out. Now, I want to talk about one thing. There's an old saying in the military.
Okay.
Generals always fight the last war.
Okay, explain that to me.
So, the generals...
It's like a parable.
Yeah, it's a parable.
All right, let's hear it.
Generals went into World War I fighting the
war before.
The last war. The war before that had the most effect on World War I, honestly, was the U.S. Civil War. You had the Spanish-American War, which is mostly should have been called the Spanish Empirical Civil War. We were just we threw our lot in and took over, halfway through. And then you have the Japanese Russo War that happened just north of Japan, and Japan and Russia squared off. But they always fought the last war, and that's why we went into World War I with guys riding horses and the trench warfare and all the horrors. And the airplane shows up and the tank and things like that. But war, they didn't recognize how fast war is then. The Germans kind of did, but I don't think to the full extent. Because the Germans move fast. So anyways, I'm watching.
Like how fast war pushes technology?
How fast war moves.
Okay.
How fast, because trench warfare is static war. It's grueling. It's awful. It's just, all it is You stand face off with another guy and you punch each other in the eye over and over again until one guy gives up.
Okay, that's not funny.
No, but that's what it is.
Okay.
And war had changed. It had become a fast-moving war where it's more about move here, take the objective, hold it, and then get to another objective and hold it. And, it had become that. And the generals didn't understand that quite so well. So I'm watching this Russia-Ukraine war going on right now. And I think generals are fighting the last war where it's soldiers on the ground innovate the new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you have these little quad drones that almost any 15-year-old kid in the country right now probably has one. And they're putting hand grenades on it. And they're taking out APCs. They're taking out equipment that cost $1 million with a $200 drone.
Yeah.
And they're inventing right now.
Yeah.
They're inventing
ways for it to carry the payload.
Not just that, drone guns.
Oh.
Guns that shoot, that interrupt drones and make them fall out of the sky. In response to that, granted, we have already been working on it. I'm sure China has. But guys over there are inventing this. So, yes, my opinion on Ukraine is it's a black hole where we send our money to enrich other people because that's what's been happening. They did a study. Less than 30% of the munitions we send over there make it to the front line. Where's it going? I imagine, why does Zelensky, a comedian, president of a bankrupt country, have, what was it, $700 million in an offshore bank on an island? Yeah.
He did really well in the stock market.
He did really well. Ooh, maybe he's the one person that got out of FTX on time.
He was it.
But, and I'm not, and that's not to say I definitely don't want Russia to keep doing what it's doing, which, here's a little quick note for anyone who's never studied war in that Eastern Europe. The war isn't over. It's the winter over there.
It's just kind of quelled.
And then,
because it's cold as shit.
And then spring will come and they won't start it up again because then it's the mud season. But it's going to kick back off. Usually, probably fighting season over there starts April, May time. So it's going to kick back off. But when I say that, you've got these guys that have set up these little quadcopters that can lift up a half pound. All they need is one hand grenade.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to have the technology to drop it. You can just fly it right in the hatch.
Yeah. Yeah. Just sacrifice the $200 drone.
Seriously. And then you just got to what? Get some handy wipes out to wipe the blood off the inside of your new APC and away you go. So I think, but yeah, I think we're going to start seeing some,
it's moving fast, people.
The next war. And hopefully we're training up for it. Hopefully.
Yes.
And hopefully we don't get involved. Because if we go to war with Russia, we will roll over them quick and easy and push that guy right into a corner.
And when you back a crazed dog into a corner,
it's when it gets scary.
They misbehave.
Yep. That's when it gets scary. But anyways, thank you for joining us,
Thanks
everyone.
for joining, and have a great week.
Yeah. I didn't see any more questions come in for the
check out
for
ChatGPT.
If you guys,
strange. If nothing else, it piques my interest to see an unopinionated, egoless response to everyday questions.
I am serious. If they threw an AI onto the ballot, man, I think I would probably go.
You think you'd vote?
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time?
I think I could go for it. I think I could go for it because let's face it. I mean, no ego, no corruption. The thing's got no bank accounts it wants to fill. It's got no, yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not going to get mad if someone says something. I mean, I do miss. Look,
You're going to say it out loud.
I only got Twitter because I knew at 3 a.m.
Trump was going to tweet on the toilet.
While he was whittling some McDonald's out of his system, just really stressing it out. You know, he was one eye, and he would use that aggression on Twitter, and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
That was the best part about Trump. Yeah. The best part. All right.
Have a great week.
Yes, have a great week. We will see you guys next week.